Hello everyone! Have you ever imagined that after losing a game, you start clapping for your opponent? If not, in this video, you will see a remarkable moment in chess history where Boris Spassky, the legendary grandmaster, begins applauding Bobby Fischer after he resigns. This incredible display of sportsmanship is not something you see every day, and it truly highlights the respect between two great rivals. So, let's dive into the detailed analysis of their famous game that has been celebrated by chess enthusiasts around the world. Bobby has the white pieces and starts with the classical move c4. Spassky plays e6, followed by knight to f3, d5 from Spassky, and d4 from Fischer, entering the well-known Queen's Gambit decline opening. Spassky responds with knight to f6, and Fischer develops with knight to c3. Spassky then plays bishop to e7, and Fischer responds with bishop to g5, pinning the knight. Spassky castles, solidifying his position. Fischer plays e3, developing his pawn structure, while Spassky pushes with h6, challenging the bishop and pushing it back. The bishop retreats to h4, then develops to b4, entering the Tartakower variations. Fischer captures on d5 with the c-pawn, initiating pawn exchanges. The knight recaptures on d5, and Fischer captures on e7, followed by the queen recapturing on e7. The knight then recaptures on d5, and Spassky responds by recapturing with the e-pawn. After 10 moves, the position is quite balanced, with both players having developed their pieces harmoniously. If you enjoy watching classical chess games and studying strategic play, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future matches and insightful analyses. Now, moving into the critical phase of the game, on the 11th move, Fischer plays rook to c1, intensifying pressure on the c-file. Spassky develops his bishop to 6 pounds, preparing to reinforce his position. Fischer plays queen to a4, maintaining his attacking stance. Spassky responds with c5, staking his control in the center, and then comes queen to a3, pinning the c-pawn and adding to white's pressure. Spassky plays rook to c8, strengthening his defenses around the pawn. Fischer develops his bishop to b5, and Spassky responds with a6, challenging the bishop. However, this pawn move cannot capture the bishop because of the undefended rook on a8, which Fischer cleverly exploits. Fischer captures on c5 and Spassky recaptures on c5, leading to a complex middle game. Fischer castles, bringing his king to safety, and then plays rook to a7, intensifying control over the 7th rank. The bishop moves back to e2. Spassky develops his knight to d7. Fischer moves knight to d4, eyeing key squares and preventing the rook on c8 from being captured. Spassky moves his queen to f8, adding extra protection to the rook, and Fischer responds with knight to a6, maneuvering to activate his pieces effectively. Spassky recaptures, and Fischer continues attacking with pawn pushes e4, d4. Fischer then plays f4, controlling the e5 square and preparing for a kingside offensive. Spassky counteracts with queen to e7, and Fischer pushes e5, gaining space. Black responds with rook to b8. Fischer plays bishop to c4, aiming at strategic squares, and Spassky moves his king to h8, avoiding tactical threats. Now queen to h3 attacks the pawn from both sides, showcasing white's increasing pressure. Knight to f8 adds defense for the e-pawn, and the game continues with b3, a5, and Fischer pushing f5, seeking to open lines for attack. Black captures on f5, the rook recaptures, and knight to h7 prepares for defensive maneuvers. Fischer doubles his rooks with rook to g1, piling on the pressure. Spassky reacts by moving his queen to d8, then to g3, rook to a7. Fischer responds with h4, blocking the knight's path to g5 and preventing infiltration. Spassky plays rook to b7, bolstering the defense. Fischer plays e6, aiming to open lines, then rook to c7 and queen to e5, creating threats. Spassky counters with queen to e8, but Fischer plays a4, expanding on the queen side. Spassky's queen moves to d8, rook to f2, queen back to e8, rook to f3, queen again to d8. Fischer plays bishop to d3, centralizing his bishop and increasing pressure. Spassky finds his options limited, and in a decisive sequence, Fischer plays queen to e4, knight to f6, attacking the queen. Rook sacrifices itself by capturing on f6. Spassky recaptures, and then Fischer's rook recaptures on f6, a pivotal moment. Spassky moves his king to g8, Fischer plays bishop to e4, and his king moves back to h8, avoiding check. Finally, Fischer plays queen to f4, a move that seals his advantage and is considered winning. After these powerful moves, Spassky recognizes the inevitable and resigns, standing up and applauding Fischer as a mark of respect for this masterful game. This particular match is renowned in chess history for its brilliance and sportsmanship. Thanks so much for watching.